Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasri Srimad-Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasri Srimad-Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhakta-vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Sri. So my dear devotees, we shall read from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 6. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Dotatma
Dotatma
Purusha
Purusha
Krishna
Krishna
Pada
Pada
Mulam
Mulam
Na
Na
Munchati
Munchati
Mukta
Mukta
Sarva
Sarva
Pariklesha
Pariklesha
Panta
Anta
Swa
Swa
Sharanam
Sharanam
Yata
Yata
Dotatma Purusha Krishna
Dotatma Purusha Krishna
Padamulam Namunchati
Padamulam Munchati
Mukta Sarva Pariklesha
Mukta Sarva Pariklesha
Panta Swa Sharanam Yata
Anta Swa Sharanam Yata
Atma Purusha Krishna
Dotatma Purusha Krishna
Padamulam Namunchati
Padamulam Munchati
Mukta Sarva Pariklesha
Mukta Sarva Pariklesha
Panta Sva Sharanam Yata
Anta Swa Sharanam Yata
Dotatma
Dotatma
whose heart has been cleansed.
His heart has been cleansed.
Purusha,
Purusha,
the living being.
the living being.
Krishna,
Krishna,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Padamulam,
Padamulam,
the shelter of the lotus feet.
the shelter of the lotus feet.
Na,
Na,
never.
never.
Munchati,
Munchati,
gives up.
gives up.
Mukta,
Mukta,
liberated.
liberated.
Sarva,
Sarva,
all,
all,
Pariklesha,
Pariklesha,
of all miseries of life,
of all miseries of life,
Panta,
Anta,
the traveler,
the traveler,
Swasharanam,
Swajanam,
in his own abode,
in his own abode,
Yata,
Yata,
as it were.
as it were.
Translation. A pure devotee of the Lord, whose heart has once been cleansed by the process of devotional service, never relinquishes the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, for they fully satisfy him, as a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey. Please repeat. A pure devotee of the Lord,
A pure devotee of the Lord,
whose heart has once been cleansed
whose heart has once been cleansed
by the process of devotional service,
by the process of devotional service,
never relinquishes
never relinquishes
the lotus feet of Lord Krishna,
the lotus feet of Lord Krishna,
for they fully satisfy him.
for they fully satisfy.
The traveler is satisfied
As a traveler is satisfied
at home
at home
after a troubled journey.
after a troubled journey.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One who is not a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna is not completely cleansed in the heart. But a perfectly cleansed person never quits the devotional service of the Lord. In discharging such devotional service, as ordered by Brahmaji to Narada in the preaching of Srimad-Bhagavatam, sometimes a representative of the Lord engaged in preaching work meets various so-called difficulties. This was exhibited by Lord Nityananda when he delivered the two fallen souls, Jagai and Madai. And similarly, Lord Jesus Christ was crucified by the non-believers. But such difficulties are particularly suffered by the devotees in preaching, because in such activities, although apparently very severe, the devotees of the Lord feel transcendental pleasure because the Lord is satisfied. So Srila Rupa Goswami has given the definition of pure devotional service. Anyavilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulena Krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. So pure devotional service, anyavilasita sunyam, means without any other desire. Anyavilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam, without being covered by mental speculation or fruitive work. Anyavilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulena, favorable. The service should be favorable to Krishna's pleasure. Anushilanam. Anu means continuous. Shilana means cultivation. So it's a continuous cultivation. Anu also means to follow. So it's a continuous cultivation following the previous acharyas. Bhakti Uttama, that is the highest bhakti or pure devotional service. So the whole purpose of devotional service is to give pleasure to Krishna. And the devotee experiences his pleasure when Krishna is pleased. And if Krishna is pleased, then the devotee is happy, even if his external circumstances are difficult. Srila Prabhupada had a disciple named Bhavananda. Not Baba. Baba means ecstasy, but Baba. Baba means the material world. So when he gave the disciple the name Bhava, the bliss of the material world, the disciple was concerned, what is Srila Prabhupada trying to say by giving him that name? And Srila Prabhupada explained that the devotee experiences pleasure when Krishna is pleased, and only in the material world can we preach. We can't preach in the spiritual world. There's no need to preach in the spiritual world. So the bliss of the material world is preaching. And that gives Krishna the greatest pleasure. And at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says of the preacher that there is no one more dear to him than the preacher, nor will there ever be one more dear. And in the end, his devotional service is guaranteed, and he will come to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also said that the parents love all the children and care for all the children, but they take special care of the youngest child, who's most dependent on them. And he said the preacher depends more on Krishna, and therefore Krishna takes special care of the preacher. So now we can go back to the purport. I want to start a little earlier, the purport. Although I read it, I want to read it again. A perfectly cleansed person never quits the devotional service of the Lord. In discharging such devotional service, as ordered by Brahmaji to Narada in the preaching of Srimad-Bhagavatam, sometimes a representative of the Lord engaged in preaching work meets various so-called difficulties. This was exhibited by Lord Nityananda when he delivered the two fallen souls, Jagai and Madai. And Lord Jesus Christ was crucified by the non-believers. But such difficulties are very gladly suffered by the devotees in preaching, because in such activities, although apparently very severe, the devotees of the Lord feel transcendental pleasure because the Lord is satisfied. Prahlad Maharaj suffered greatly, but still he never forgot the lotus feet of the Lord. So as stated by Prahlad Maharaj, there are 9 processes of devotional service, Namavida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmani Vedanam. And different devotees are known for having attained perfection through different of the items. Shravanam, Maharaj Parīkṣit attained perfection by hearing. Kirtanam, Shukadev Goswami attained perfection by speaking. And Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj attained perfection by remembering the Lord. He remembered the Lord in all circumstances. Even though his father, Hiranyakashipu, was a great demon and tried to torture him and ultimately kill him in so many ways, but through all the trials and tribulations, Prahlad always remembered the Lord. And that is an example for us that whatever situation we are in, good or bad, happy or sad, we should always remember the Lord. So back to the purport. Prahlad Maharaj suffered greatly, but still he never forgot the lotus feet of the Lord. This is because a pure devotee of the Lord is so purified in his heart that he cannot leave the shelter of Lord Krishna in any circumstances. There is no self-interest in such service. So Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ata Eva Shanta. So the Bhukti, the materialists who want material enjoyment. Mukti, the Gyanis who want liberation. And Siddhi, the yogis who want mystic perfections. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kampi, they all have selfish desires. And therefore, none of them is peaceful. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam, only a devotee of Krishna has no selfish desire, Ata Eva Shanta, and therefore the devotee of Krishna is peaceful. Back to the purport. There is no self-interest in such service. The progress of culturing knowledge by the Gyanis, or the bodily gymnastics by the yogis, are ultimately given up by the respective performers. But a devotee of the Lord cannot give up the service of the Lord, for he is ordered by his spiritual master. Pure devotees like Narada and Nityananda Prabhu take up the order of the spiritual master as the sustenance of their life. So that is the process of devotional service and the secret of success in spiritual life, to take up the order of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. And Srila Prabhupada referred to a commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on the verse Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana, to the effect that that the disciple takes the order of the spiritual master as his heart and soul. And that is, that was Srila Prabhupada's secret of success. And that will be our success if we also take up the order of the spiritual master as our life and soul. So back to the purport. Pure devotees like Narada and Nityananda Prabhu take up the order of the spiritual master as the sustenance of life. They do not mind what becomes of the future of their lives. So I have a dear god brother named Ravindra Swarup Das. And at that time, there was some trouble in New Vrindavan. And in fact, some of the devotees in New Vrindavan apparently had killed someone who got in the way of their plans. And so Ravindra Swarup Prabhu was asked to go to New Vrindavan and try to help the situation. But it was very risky because, as I mentioned, they had already killed one person, and there was a chance they could attack him as well. But he read this verse and purport. They do not mind what happens to the future of their lives. And that convinced him that he should go. He should take up the challenge and he should go. Back to the purport. Pure devotees like Narada and Nityananda Prabhu take up the order of the spiritual master as the sustenance of life. They do not mind what becomes of the future of their lives. They take the matter very seriously, as the order comes from the higher authorities, from the representative of the Lord, or from the Lord himself. The example set herein is very appropriate. A traveler leaves home to search for wealth in far distant places, sometimes in the forest, and sometimes on the ocean, and sometimes on hilltops. Certainly, there are many troubles for the traveler, when he is in such unknown places. Such troubles are at once mitigated as soon as the sense of family affection is remembered. And as soon as he returns home, he forgets all such troubles on the way. As Srila Jiva Goswami explains that when a devotee takes trouble in the service of the Lord and the Lord is pleased, then the devotee is happy, even though he underwent so many difficulties in the course of the service. And he also gives the example that parents take care of their children, and their children may not even appreciate what the parents are doing for them. But still, parents do their duty towards the children, even if the children don't appreciate it. And they are satisfied with it. So back to the purport. Certainly, there are many troubles for the traveler when he is in such unknown places. But all such troubles are at once mitigated as soon as the sense of family affection is remembered. And as soon as he returns home, he forgets all such troubles on the way. A pure devotee of the Lord is exactly in a family tie with the Lord. And therefore he is undeterred in discharging his duty in a full affectionate tie with the Lord. So yes, this is a very good example that the traveler faces many difficulties, but he forgets them all once he returns home. And similarly, a devotee may undergo many difficulties in the course of devotional service, but he doesn't mind, as long as the Lord is satisfied, and ultimately he will go home, back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. And of course, in Kali Yuga, our main process is the chanting of the holy names. Harinama, Harinama, Harinami Vikevalam. Kalona Stevana, Stevana, Steva, Steva Gatiranyata. One should chant the holy names, chant the holy names, chant the holy name of Hare Krishna. There is no other way, no other way, no other way for success in the present age of Kali. So, as Srila Prabhupada said in one talk in Los Angeles, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Don't waste time. Don't speak nonsense. Chant Hare Krishna. So, yeah, at every moment, we should be engaged in some sort of service to Krishna. And one service that we can do at any time is to chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. And now, if any of you have any questions, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj, as always. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, realizations you would like to share, please you may indicate by using the hand emoji or using your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to go ahead and speak.
And again, as far as possible, the devotees should put on their cameras so I can see their moon-like faces. And it's a more personal experience.
Okay.
Yes.
We have Guru Bhakti Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and Srila Prabhupada. Am I audible, Guru Maharaj?
Yes.
Sorry?
You are audible, yes.
You are audible. Audible
Okay.
and visible.
Thank you. Guru Maharaj, my question was that we always hear that when we water the root of a tree, then all the parts of the tree are satisfied because they receive the water. But practically, when we try to serve Krishna, so many people around us are not very happy and they may be dissatisfied with our service or unhappy with what we're doing. So it's very difficult to understand that practically. Please, can you help me to understand it?
They're dissatisfied because you're engaging in devotional service, or they're dissatisfied with the way you're engaging in devotional service?
It happens both ways, Guru Maharaj. Sometimes I'm putting in my best effort and the authorities might not be satisfied. And sometimes my family is not happy with it because I'm not doing other things that they want me to do. And I'm doing service.
Oh, like what? Studying? What do they want you to do that you don't do? They feel you because of your devotional service.
Guru Maharaj, I love reading. So when I don't do something at home, I don't study and I go on reading, then my mom gets very upset.
I'll speak to you now. Yeah, she's also my disciple.
Guru Maharaj.
Well, in devotional service and in life in general, balance is very important. So we have to balance chanting, reading, and if we're in school, studying. And if people know you're a devotee. So if you do well in your studies, it will reflect well on Krishna consciousness. And if you do poorly in your studies, it will be a bad reflection on Krishna consciousness. So in a way, doing well in your studies is a service to the cause of Krishna consciousness. So people will think, oh, she's a devotee, she's doing well in school, so being a devotee is a good thing.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I will study.
Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
for the
Krishna.
wonderful.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, Guru Bhakti Devi, for the beautiful question. Anyone else with a question? Maharaj, fortunately or unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, I have not yet experienced the description Srila Prabhupada was giving, that those who are true devotees will go through any suffering just to serve Guru and Krishna. But I know a few of my god brothers who have lived through situations like that, and they never gave up on Krishna. I have one god brother. He was preaching, and because of his preaching work, he was arrested by the government and put in jail. Of course, by Guru Krishna's grace, he was able to escape from the jail. But it actually made him become more dedicated to Krishna. And I was thinking, if I went through a situation like that, I might have run away from Krishna. But this devotee actually became more dedicated to Krishna. So my question, Maharaj, is how come that one devotee, no matter what difficulties he goes through in his devotional life, dedicates his life to Krishna more, and others, anytime there is a little challenge, they forget about Krishna, and like we say in this corner, they bloop. What makes one stay and what makes one bloop? Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a matter of faith. Ado Shraddha, devotional service begins with faith. Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, then one associates with devotees. Tata Bhajana Kriya, then one engages in devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada says at that stage one takes initiation. Then anartha nivritti, one becomes free from anarthas. Not completely, but 75%, say. Then nishta, one becomes firmly fixed. Then ruchi, one gets taste. Then asakti, one gets attachment. That's the course of sadhana bhakti, and then bhava, that's the next stage, bhava bhakti, and then prema bhakti. So first is faith, and if one has faith, then even if he encounters difficulty, he will keep his faith. And as you gave the wonderful example of your god brother who did such excellent service, even if there's difficulty, he'll continue in devotional service with maybe increased determination and enthusiasm. But if someone's faith is weak, when the person faces difficulties, as you say, might get discouraged and pull back from Krishna consciousness. And faith develops in the association of devotees. There are many verses in the Bhagavad Gita about faith. And Krishna says that for one who is faithless, there's no happiness in this life or in the next. And his purport, one purport, Srila Prabhupada says, faith is the most important factor in Krishna consciousness. So we really need to have faith. And then if there are difficulties, we'll face them in Krishna consciousness and we'll continue in devotional service. We won't give up or go away. Yeah, there's, of course, different degrees of faith. And the neophyte's faith is called Komala Shraddha, that means, you could say weak. But an intermediate devotee, when Srila Prabhupada wanted us to act on the platform of Madhyama Bhaktas, he has faith, strong faith. And even if there are reversals, he's not deterred in his determination to engage in devotional service. So, Srila Prabhupada says faith is the most important factor in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Just 3 days ago, I was reading from Srila Prabhupada's Jaladuta diary. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, it's very interesting, Maharaj, how you answered my question. Because in that Jaladuta diary, Srila Prabhupada was praying. And I was shocked when Srila Prabhupada prayed like that, that he has no devotion, he has no knowledge, but he has faith in Krishna. And he has faith in Krishna, that Krishna has a purpose for him coming to the West. And I was thinking to myself, how would Srila Prabhupada say he has no devotion? But as you explain it, it's making sense to me that faith is the beginning of everything. If we have faith, then knowledge and devotion may follow. Is that the case, that in the beginning, we need faith, and from that faith, knowledge and a devotion to the Lord may follow?
Yes. In fact, these different stages, Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajana Kriya, and so on. Faith is a constant factor in all of them. And as one progresses through the different stages, one's faith becomes stronger. So in one sense, there's no difference between Shraddha and Prema. Prema is just a more mature state of Shraddha. So, faith is the most important factor in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Maharaj. Anyone else with something to ask or share? Oh, Janava, please, you may unmute. Yeah, you may go ahead and speak. We cannot hear you, Janava Devi.
Oh, it's Ganga.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can hear you. Yes, please. Go ahead.
You can hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Guru Maharaj, I wanted to ask you about the difficulties in preaching, how you were, it's easy to tolerate when the difficulties come from, from the non-devotees when we go out. But when we get difficulties inside the house, like for example, in the temple or with friends or Krishna's friends or devotees, that they don't appreciate so much what you are doing, or, things like that, that is more difficult. This means that you have to reevaluate yourself, you are not doing well, or it's just, it's a proof of Krishna. Krishna is testing you, your determination, how we should take that. If, friends, family, or devotees, they are not so happy with your preaching.
Well, you could ask them what they think you could do better and evaluate if their suggestion is valid or not. They might have some insight into how you could improve. And so you can welcome their advice or suggestions. But sometimes people might not understand what you're doing, and they might doubt you or criticize you unnecessarily. And in that case, you can continue and just tolerate the lack of appreciation or even criticism.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
How's your book distribution going?
What? I didn't understand.
How is
How
your
is
book
your book
distribution going?
How?
Your book distribution.
Good. Right now I am in Portugal, and just today I went out and I distributed a few books and one Bhagavad Gita in Spanish, although they were Portuguese. But yeah, we are trying our best.
Nice. Yeah. If you distribute books, Prabhupada is pleased, for sure.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you so much, John Devi. Anyone else with a question? Maharaj, Jennifer Davis' question she asked, sorry, actually you asked how is her book distribution going? We all know how book distribution is very dear to Srila Prabhupada. But we see in this present age, lots of people are now having their books in electronic format, like PDF or different formats, instead of having the hard copies of the books. Now, if this trend expands, then how are we going to be distributing these books to please Srila Prabhupada and get his mercy and blessings? Because I'm seeing like the way things are moving now, lots of people are interested in having their books in the palm of their hands or maybe in their pockets, on their phone, on their tablets. And people are no more going to be carrying like volumes of Bhagavatam. I remember Guru Govinda Maharaj, when he came to my country a long time ago, he had his Bhagavatam in a very beautiful saffron cloth that the disciples were carrying. You know, these days we have them on our phones and on our tablets. So if this trend continues, how are we going to be able to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books and please him and thereby get his mercy and blessing?
Well, the electronic versions are used by devotees. But when we go out on the street with books, we meet people who are not devotees. And by reading the books, they can become devotees. So it's a very different audience. We have the electronic versions and the people who we approach on the street. And there will always be people who want to have a physical book, you know, lit it in the end and open it up and read the pages and look at the pictures. So I think there will always be a market for books, for hard copies of books. And we need to, you need to go out there and meet people, new people, and use them to take the books.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Actually, there was a study done some time ago, and it was said that reading the physical book in black and white helps the reader to retain the content much better than reading on electronic. So I'm trying to learn from that and read from the hard copies of the books rather than on electronic gadgets. Thank you, Maharaj. Preeti, Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Jai Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Guru Maharaj, the question I have is, if our family members are chanting, but they still don't feel that something is changing in their lives and they're still, sad or not happy about the situations or the circumstances, what should I be doing differently to help them take up Krishna consciousness more seriously, or to help them to take up the path of pure devotional service?
Well, what I generally advise devotees who want to encourage their family members in Krishna consciousness is two things. One, the devotee should be happy. And two, the devotee should deal very nicely with the family members. And if they see that the devotee is happy and is dealing nicely with them, then they'll think Krishna consciousness is very good. Are you saying they chant, but they're still not happy?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, because I think the situations or the circumstances are still not improving. Probably the chanting is not, which the mind goes around, so probably the chanting is not with that concentration, so the effects might take longer, because if you're just not, she's not chanting 16 rounds, but like 4 rounds.
Well, they shouldn't chant with the idea that by chanting their material situation will improve. That's not the purpose of chanting. The purpose of chanting is to purify the heart and develop love for Krishna. So I think, encourage them of course, it's the same thing, be happy and deal nicely with them and encourage them to chant attentively, because a lot of the benefit of chanting depends on how attentive we are when we chant. So they're spending the time chanting, even 4 rounds. So let them chant in the best way during those 4 rounds. And of course, if they chant early in the morning, that's better. If they chanted from Tulsi Devi, that's better. If they chant with you, that's probably better too. And then we hope they will relish the chanting more.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Preeti Devi. Anyone else got something to ask? There are quite many of us here, and I believe we may have lots of questions. Anyone? Mrs. Sarah, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
My question is sort of in reference to this attentive chanting. Maybe you could just elaborate on, my mind is constantly wandering and unfocused and disturbed, and I'm constantly having to reel it back in. And the more I'm chanting, the more I realize just how disturbed my mind can be and how easily it becomes distracted. And I'm wondering if maybe you can share some guidance on how I can improve my attentiveness when chanting. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as I mentioned, chanting early in the morning, chanting in front of Tulsi Devi, chanting with other sincere chanters can help. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever and from wherever the mind wanders, you have to bring it back under the control of the self. There are some good books about japa that I recommend. There's one book by Burijan Das called Japa. And reading the book will definitely give you some support in your japa. And His Holiness Sachinanda Swami has written a number of books about chanting. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a book called Harinam Chintamani. And Sachinanda Swami wrote a book based on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Harinam Chintamani. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if you chant attentively, then all the other offenses will be eradicated. But if you're inattentive while chanting, the other offenses will flourish.
Mm-hmm.
Main thing is to be attentive. I've done a number of japa retreats and japa workshops. And I've done some with Mahatma Prabhu, And he said that there are devotees who become very expert at using their left hand, because while their right hand is in the bead bag, with their left hand, whatever, they're checking their email or doing something else. So, yeah, we don't want to do that. And another interesting thing he said, that one devotee said that he used to feel that his japa was coming in the way of his life.
Mm.
Now he feels his life is coming in the way of his japa.
Try. Okay.
So yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sarah, for the question. Thank you so much. Anyone else with something to ask? Mallory Devi, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna, Mallory.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is it possible to turn on your camera?
No, because if
Okay.
I turn on my camera, because I can't hear the sound because of my mobile data is not working properly.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to your divine grace. I just want to clear one doubt, Guru Maharaj, about chanting. I want to know about the speed of our chanting. Actually, usually it is said that you can chant around 8 to 9 minutes you take for one japa. And I was like quite attentive while I was doing this, tracking my one japa with that. But then I heard my devotee friend suggesting me that, go very slow, hear every syllable, and then I started chanting in that way, but then it took me 13 minutes to chant one round. So and so I just want to know that what is the best, because I could really concentrate a lot while I was a little slow, but then it doesn't continue in that way, because you can't chant 15 minutes one round. It's like 1 hour, you are just 4 rounds. So I just want to know what is the best. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Well, the main thing is to hear, and yeah, Srila Prabhupada said not to worry about how long it takes to chant your rounds. The main thing is to hear. And gradually you might pick up speed. But if it takes you 15 minutes to chant a round and to hear very nicely, then I think you should do that and not worry about how much time it takes. The main thing is to hear.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. But it could be that I am, if I'm slow, then I'm missing on something and my mind just, maybe I take a nap in between my rounds, but I try my level best. So
Yeah.
just
There could be disadvantages to going too slow. So just whatever works, whatever works. So if
Okay, good.
someone asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you know if a plan is good? And Srila Prabhupada said, if it's successful, you know it was good.
Jai.
So that works.
Jai. Thank you. Thank you, Guru.
All right.
Hey, Aradhya Bhagavan Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Where are you?
I'm in Calcutta, Maharaj.
Oh, okay. You're back. You're in Calcutta. Okay.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a question. I actually have two questions, Maharaj. One is, when we do services in Krishna consciousness, and sometimes eventually over the years we get involved in multiple services, and then we go through ups and downs while we are in that services. But amongst all of this, how do we know that Srila Prabhupada is accepting it, our services, and that we are able to, please Srila Prabhupada through our services? So this is one question. And the second question is if there is one thing, absolutely just one thing, which would make Srila Prabhupada really, really happy in terms of services, apart from chanting sincerely and for regulative principles, what would that be? Hare Krishna.
Well, there was once a meeting with Srila Prabhupada and the book distributors in Atlanta. And so one of the devotees asked, what would please you the most? And they were expecting that Srila Prabhupada would say to distribute his books. But when they asked what would please you the most, he said, if you love Krishna. So that's our ultimate goal, and that would please Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, you have multiple services, and you're doing them to please Srila Prabhupada. You want to please Srila Prabhupada. And once a devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how can I please you? And Srila Prabhupada replied, just by your desire to please me, you are pleasing me. So he's pleased with your desire to please him. I'm sure he's happy with your efforts. From what I see. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you for those beautiful questions, Aradhya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else before Maharaj leaves? Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Chakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to you, all glories to Prabhupada. And all glories to that somebody worthy. Thank you, Maharaj. It's always very enlivening to hear from you. And yeah, Maharaj, somebody asked a question about faith. And sometimes it's a little bit bewildering hearing about faith. Because when we read about Srila Prabhupada's
Hare Chakra Prabhu, you have to unmute. Okay, go ahead. No, we cannot hear you. Hare Chakra Prabhu, check your audio because we cannot hear you.
I wish I knew how to read lips, but I don't know.
Arichakra Prabhu, please unmute. Okay, go ahead. No, you will have to fix your audio. We cannot hear you. So we'll go to Manjri Gopika, please. You may unmute. Arichakra Prabhu, fix your mic. We'll come back to you.
No,
Hare Krishna. Oh, it's
is
working.
it coming?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
All right, yeah, we can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was asking is that when we read about Srila Prabhupada's Leela and the initial devotees that he had, they instantly have faith in Srila Prabhupada, and they were ready to do anything for Srila Prabhupada. But we also hear there is a quote in the Bible, Romans chapter 10 verse 17, that says that faith cometh by hearing, and hearing the word of God. And we also understand that we also constantly also hear that when you keep chanting seriously, then gradually the Maha Mantra will purify you, and somehow along the line you develop faith. But here is a case where we see some people, they just came in contact with Prabhupada. They have not even done anything. They have not even been chanting like any serious mantra. And instantly they had complete faith in Srila Prabhupada. So my question is, what exactly brings about faith? What is the underlying principle that makes us develop that such strange faith, like the initial devotees of Srila Prabhupada were able to develop that strange faith as soon as they came in contact with it?
Well, faith comes from hearing. And then when you put into practice what you've heard, and you get the good result, then your faith will increase. Of course, Srila Prabhupada's presence was such that he could inspire faith in people. They just develop faith in him just by being in his presence. But generally, the faith will develop when we hear, and then we put into practice what we have heard, and we get the result, and then our faith will increase.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj, for the answer.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Manjri Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Giriraj Maharaj, please accept my obeisances. I'm so happy to be part of this class today. My question, Maharaj, is about book distribution. I remember at your Vyasa Puja in Dallas, His Holiness Hridayananda Swami Maharaj gave a very beautiful tribute to you, and he reflected on how he used to watch you do Sankirtan in the Boston Commons. And he said nearly everyone bought a book from you. And he said that nearly no one bought a book from him. And I've always been a little bit afraid of distributing books, because I've always had in my mind that maybe somebody will confront me in an argument and I will not be properly equipped to respond, and then it'll be a big mess. So I was just wondering, although I've been with devotees while they distribute, so I was just wondering if you could give some advice on the mentality to have when distributing Prabhupada's books.
Well, I would always put the magazine, in the beginning it was mainly magazines that we had. I'd put it in their hands, and so they would go through it and they'd get attached to it. And I would pray to the super soul within me to inspire me to say the right words to the person. And I would pray to the Lord within the heart of the potential customer to inspire the person to take the book and do some service, to give some donation. And then another thing is that after the person took the book or magazine, I would spend some time with them so they wouldn't think, oh, he just wanted to sell the book and now he's ready to move on to some other customer, but they'd feel that I really cared about their spiritual life, which I did. And so I would spend time with them after they took the book to encourage them to read it and practice it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different than from book distribution, but in India, Srila Prabhupada said, Giriraj can make friends with any man, become his son, and take his money.
Yes. And if I could just make one last comment, Maharaj, Rasishri, my daughter, and I were reading Dancing White Elephants. And when hearing this purport today, I was thinking of you, of how all the austerities that you and your godbrothers and your godsisters went through with dysentery and no running water and sleeping on the floor with rats. But yet you were so enlivened by your service to Prabhupada that you were still in bliss, although bodily suffering. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, fits well with today's purport. Thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much for the acknowledgement, Devi. In fact, Maharaj, I have a question in this regard that, of course, I'm not supposed to ask Krishna why, but I do not know how else I'm going to ask this question without asking why. In the sense that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada was talking about how family members go through so much difficulties, but once they think of their families back home, they get relief from their suffering. So the pure devotee has a bonded tie, a family tie with the Supreme Lord. So even though the pure devotee goes through suffering, when he thinks of Krishna, he becomes relieved of his troubles. But my question to Krishna is, why would Krishna allow his pure devotees who are working on his behalf to free conditioned souls back home go through so much suffering? And when I look at the life of Srila Prabhupada, the troubles he had to go through for somebody like me to be here to benefit, his suffering, it just beats my mind. And of course, it is said that when the guru accepts disciples, he also accepts the problems of the disciple. Why wouldn't Krishna directly take the problems of the disciples and let the guru, his pure devotee, take the problems of the disciples? And sometimes based on these bad problems from the disciples, the pure devotee of the Lord has to go through some suffering. I just can't understand why Krishna would do that.
Well, yes, when a spiritual master accepts a disciple, he takes their karma and as a service on behalf of Krishna. And Krishna can take that karma from the spiritual master, or he may not. And Srila Prabhupada says sometimes when the spiritual master suffers from taking the karma of disciples, it could be a warning to the spiritual master not to accept too many disciples or not to accept too many unfit disciples. But yeah, he said, Krishna is like a big fire who can consume any amount of karma, but the spiritual master is like a small fire, and so that fire could be disturbed by some amount of karma, accepting some amount of karma from disciples. But yeah, Krishna will definitely take whatever karma he feels is necessary to free the spiritual master from having to take that karma.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj. I believe I would not be wrong to say this, that Maharaj, on behalf of each and everyone here, and probably on behalf of all Vaishnava devotees, we fervently pray that somehow you bless us, the Parampara bless us, so that we as Dikshas live our lives in such a way that we do not put so much problems on our beloved gurus. It's our prayer and our desire, but desire also has to come with action. So we pray that we're not just simply desiring, but we act upon our desires so that we do not put so much unnecessary troubles on our gurus. This is our prayer, Maharaj. Please bless us.
Wonderful, beautiful. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Maharaj. So without further questions, I believe devotees don't have any more questions. Sometimes, Maharaj, the word of Krishna is food. So when you speak, devotees become full and they don't even have any space to ask questions anymore. I think that's what happened today. Devotees are already satisfied. So at this point, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj for being with us and sharing his love. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Giriraj Swami Maharaja ki jai.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
We have one.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
His Holiness here, but I don't know his name, so I could not introduce him. Maharaj, please, if you may share with us your name. I see BSC Swami.
Yes. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, please accept my humble obeisances. I'm just a humble servant of His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, who kindly gave me his shelter in order I could follow his example and try with my humble service and please him. So my name is Bhakti Svarup Chaitanya Swami, the humble servant of all the assembled devotees.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Chaitanya Swami Maharaja Ki Jai.
All glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for blessing our Sangha today. Thank you.
And if Maharaj is so pleased, we'll be happy to have him speak with us
Take
one of
the
these
exit
days.
on the right to I-27.
Yes, so we will get in touch with you, Maharaj. We would like to have you share blessings and love with us sometime later. You speak to us. We mean Bhakti Swarup Chaitanya Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, dear devotees, we thank you all for being here as always. And of course, we can't thank His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj enough. And like we said, we're praying that we do not just become listeners of the Bhagavatam or the lectures, but we become doers also. So we pray that as we listen and enjoy the lecture, we also try to live it. So that when we go outside, people will see our character and would love to join Srila Prabhupada's movement. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, devotees.
All right, so let us end with Vaishnava Pranam.
Okay.
Vanchakalpatra
Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Devotee Vaishnava
Jai.
Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.